Hey, everybody. Thanks so much for coming. Super excited that you're here. Tonight, we're going to be sharing some really great testimonies on our product Q Core, which is actually our most reordered supplement on AutoShip, which is just a cool little fact about it. We have 6 people that are sharing their stories tonight. And yeah, Audrey, if you want to go first.
All right. Hi everybody. So Q-Core was the very first thing I ordered when I became an ambassador here. And let me tell you, it has flipped my life around. I'm a stay-at-home mom. So, and I've got a little boy, so he has so much energy, and I feel like all of the day I'm just scrambling, and I've got a lot of brain fog going on, and it's just really, really helped me to not only be energized, but just be able to keep everything like on track, and like with different like laundry and managing a young baby and everything, like I feel so capable and just like better equipped to do it when I have like everything I need for my body to like function properly, not just for like my brain fog and everything, but like I don't know, good alignment and everything with inflammation. I do have to say I've been taking like the whole trio Q-Core for like 5 months now, and just like randomly my husband started having like this back pain, so I'm like, okay, I have my Align that I want to like give to you, so I'll stop taking it for a little bit. My back started hurting like terribly like a few days later, and I'm like, Bryce, I need to get back on that. And he had felt better like a couple days later, so I'm like, okay, I'm taking that back, and I felt a lot better a couple days later. So that just kind of shows the power of it. Basically, you don't know what you don't have until you start taking it, and then your life is never the same. And do not get off it once you start taking it, because it just makes your life so much easier. At least it did for me. So that's my little story about Q-Core.
Thanks so much for sharing. Hannah, do you want to go next?
Yes. Hi, I'm Hannah. I am also a stay-at-home mom, but my Q-Core just kind of like changed the game for me when it just came to, can you hear me? Okay. When it came to just hormones, and I really struggled even before I had kids. When it came to my monthly cycle, I had all the crazy symptoms. They were super irregular. PMS was like for real. And it always went into very horrific kind of chronic type headaches, and then also just bloatiness and cramps pretty much all month long. And since I was 15, I've been trying to figure out different supplements that I could be taking, and my number one goal has always just been trying to get to a point where I can just feel good. Like I just, even on the time of the month, even before that, like ovulation week and everything, I just felt horrible. And I started getting to a point where it was a good month if I had 4 days without a chronic headache. It was to the point of like, I just couldn't do anything. And when you're having children and you're in the midst of younger children, and then also pregnancy starts to happen, the stuff that I was taking, I would, with my previous company, I would start taking quite a bit of different supplements, and I would start feeling better. And then it was almost like my body would absorb it or something. I'm not sure. But then it was not in my budget to take 12 different things just to feel okay. And that was where I was at. And I was just getting very frustrated. Then Katie had mentioned, when I first started looking into Q, I was very interested in hemp in general. But I kind of told her what stuff I was looking at. I'm like, mainly hormonal too. And she said, try core. That might be something that might be good. It's literally the best. I'm like, okay, I'll take your word for it. So I actually didn't get it first, which I hate that I didn't get it the very first time. I got the hydrate, love that. But then I was like, I'm going to get the core. And so I did. And now I recommend that to everybody, because within like 5 days, I noticed, I was like, I kind of like stopped and like, oh my gosh, I have not had a headache this week. And it was so weird. And now I'm at a place where every month I can count on one hand how many headaches I've actually had instead of how many days I haven't. So that was huge for me. And the fact that I can have my cycle and forget that I'm even on my cycle, because normally back several months ago, I knew exactly how I was feeling, how horrible I was feeling, and it was getting to the point of my cycle was coming and I felt horrible. Now I don't. And I can tell whenever I don't take the core, and the fact that it's just those 3 supplements that have made me feel like a new woman, and I can think straight and I can see straight, and it's just been a blessing. So when it comes to hormones and headache stuff, like, it's been my BFF now. That's my story.
Thanks for sharing. I love that you mentioned how quickly you felt the difference after taking it.
Yes.
Amanda, do you want to go next?
Sure. So Q Core was the first thing that I ordered when I started with Q about 5 months ago. And for me personally, it's made a huge difference in like my attitude and stuff, and just being able to focus and not be so cranky. And so I had someone really close to me actually reach out and say, hey, like, what have you been taking? What's different? This person that's really close to me suffers from anxiety and depression, has been on medication like their entire life. They tried it for the first time, and the first day they took it, literally first day, was like, oh my gosh, I forgot to take my medication this morning and I feel great. And it was just, it's been so life-changing for this person. They were on 4 different medications for their anxiety and depression, and they've actually been able to wean it down to 2 because they've been able to get their hormones and their internals all so much better from Q Core. And so now they're actually working with their doctor, seeing if they can wean off of those 2 as well. But it's been just such a crazy transformation, and it was so quick, and it's just been so life-changing for this person that I am so blessed to have been able to help them with this, because they weren't, they don't like being that like zombie sluggish feeling, especially when you're on that many different medications at once. So to be able to get it down to just this supplement natural rather than all these different pharmaceuticals, they've felt so much better. So yeah, that's what I have to share about Q Core.
Thanks for sharing. That's awesome. Sarah, would you like to go next?
Yeah. So I'm Sarah. I love Q Core, but my testimony is actually from a friend of mine who just started taking it, and she texted me like 2 days after she started taking it and was like, this might be too much information, but I just had my first normal poop in like months. So I was like, awesome. Like, that is not too much information. I'm so happy that like it's helping you in that way. So then today I drove her to the airport, and she, for like 20 minutes in my car, was like raving on about how good she feels. She was just like, blah, 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 and had like so much energy. She was telling me that she like is finally sleeping through the night. Mind you, she's only been taking this 1 week. So she's finally sleeping through the night. She is off of her medicine for arthritis, and she was taking Tylenol every single day, and she hasn't been doing that. And then also she was talking about like already she's lost weight and her cravings are less. She's just like less puffy. She feels like her clothes are just like fitting her better, and actually like she's like down clothing sizes. And again, she was just like, I am like pooping normally, and that has not been my case in like kind of years. So just all of these things, and she's only been on it for a week, so she's loving it. I can't wait to hear like after a month of her on it.
Thanks for sharing. I love hearing all these stories. They're awesome. Okay, Stephen, do you want to go next? We can't hear you.
There, I had to pull over to unmute it. Sorry.
Okay, you're driving, be careful.
But so really, and I explained it to Mallory earlier, but it's a pretty simple statement from me, I guess. Since I started taking it, I just feel broader shouldered and brighter eyed was the best way I knew to explain it. You know, just my body responds better to even working out, mental clarity. I'm a lot more clear. In my day job during the day, I'm in sales as well. So get home and 3 kids, and then we jump right into queue. You know, I pick up with Mallory where she's been all day. But at that point, I've got more energy to continue still as clear as I was first thing, you know, really life changing. I took vitamins and supplements from an online store and then like GNC in town. And I was really loyal to them to one brand for probably 6 years. But still never even saw this, never knew that I was missing this type of clarity and stuff like that. You know, I never knew there was an issue that needed to be repaired. But once you get on the change, even, you know, if there's not a known existing problem, it just makes it that much clearer. It's like not knowing you need glasses and then putting on your neighbor's glasses and you're like, holy moly, I didn't know you should be able to see like that. I mean, it was very similar to that. So like I said, pretty short and sweet, but that's huge things in this business, in this career, and in health in general. And then of course in my day job, and then with kids, I mean, really big things, but very, you know, explained very simply.
Thanks for sharing. I love that. I feel the same way too. When I started taking it, I just noticed that I just felt more clear, and I didn't realize I wasn't until I started adding that to my.
Absolutely. And that's, I mean, you know, in sales all day, I mean, you know, numbers, big numbers over and over, and percentages. I mean, 8, 10 hours some days. And then, you know, it's not necessarily a physical fatigue, but mentally you're just exhausted. But then to be able to come home and jump back into a different game plan and wrangle kids, and if, you know, Mallory's got something busy, you know, hey, you handle that, I'll jump right on supper or whatever it might be. It's sincerely life-changing.
Mallory, do you want to share your story?
Yes, so I'm sharing on behalf of my friend Whisper, who couldn't be here today. So Whisper and I connected via Instagram. And Shauna, can you hear me? Okay. We connected via Instagram, and really, she wasn't really looking for new supplements or anything of the sort. But I too was like very big on like getting Q-Core into like any person who was like having any type of discomfort in their bodies. Like I myself was sold. Obviously, you heard a little bit of Steven's story, and I had very similar changes in my body and in my hormones and in my life that I think her name was Hannah. Maybe I'm butchering that. I don't know. But she, very, very similar. I didn't have migraines, or headaches or anything. And so regardless, I knew that regardless of what her needs were, Q-Core was going to be it. So she started taking Q-Core, and she was sharing with me that she was, her husband is like stationed, he's in the service, and so like he leaves her for a certain amount of times, like whether it's a week and sometimes it's longer, and she would have to like wait till he got home to do certain things as simple as like taking a bath. Like if she was going to soak, she couldn't do that when he wasn't home because she couldn't lift her foot or like her leg to get in and out of the bathtub by herself. Go like vacuuming the stairs and so on. So she started taking Q-Core, and she was noticing like she was sitting on the floor and playing with her kids. And then she noticed she was like able to like feel good enough to like even get in the bath by herself. And then she felt like she could vacuum her stairs, and it just kind of progressed. And as she started taking these things, and so she had been to doctors, and they were actually like her next step into like getting comfortable was to have hips surgery. And because that's really where her pain was coming from, was her hips, and she no longer has to get hip surgery. And she actually had a dog, has a dog, and it's a service dog, to help her basically be able to, it's like if she dropped something, she wouldn't be able to bend down and pick it up. So I asked her about that. I was like, I didn't even know you had a service dog. And she said, well, I got her before I started Q Core. So now we still went through the training and stuff with her, but I no longer need her, but she's still like, we still have her. And I just thought that was so awesome that she's like literally able to do so many things, that she was literally on the verge of like a service dog hip surgery, and she no longer has to do any of that stuff. And I think that says a lot about Q Core and everything that it offers for our bodies and just supporting us as a whole. So that was it for Whisper Story. So glad I got to share.
Thanks so much, everybody, for coming and sharing your stories. I hope you guys all have a good rest of your evening.